This is Conservapedia. Got linked to me on Twitter. It's a self-styled, ultra-religious fundamentalist Republican American version of Wikipedia. So it's complete nonsense, and it's just sort of like right-wing rants more than actual content. But there is this page on it that's gone viral today a little bit. You know, I've seen a few tweets about it, called Worst Liberal Movies. And it's basically just them picking out high-grossing movies that they see as not being completely glowing towards American capitalism or anti-gay values, and just making up the weirdest criticisms possible of them. So basically what I want to do is just quickly go through this for a couple of minutes, see what happens with my favorite movies. Like, see if they have any of my favorite movies on there and what they think of them. I mean, the page opens up with a Trump tweet, which you just know it's going to be amazing when this is what opens up on the first page. Liberal Hollywood is racist at the highest level, and with great anger and hate. They like to call themselves the elite, but they are not the elite. I mean, I don't entirely disagree. I just disagree with them saying liberal. I mean, Hollywood is pretty noticeably conservative, I would say, in general. Are you Russian spy, comrade? I mean, not Russian, but comrade I'm fine with. Okay, immediately, Alien franchise. The first two Alien movies are two of the greatest movies ever made. I watched them again recently. They're perfect. The first one especially, but also the second one. They're incredible movies. Every other Alien movie is complete garbage, but the first two are incredible. This pro-feminist, anti-capitalist film franchise was originated by the atheist Ridley Scott. The first film was proven to be alarmingly similar to the 1965 film Planet of the Vampires. Okay. Now, first point, pro-feminist, it has a female character in it. That's what they mean when they say pro-feminist. The central character is a woman in the first Alien franchise, and that's why they think it's feminist. It has very little actual feminist overtones in the movie, I would say. Anti-capitalist? Sort of. There is an evil corporation in it. It's like saying almost every movie's anti-capitalist. Atheist Ridley Scott? I don't know if he's an atheist. I know he made Noah. Or was it Noah? No, it was like Gods and Kings about Moses with Christian Bale. I don't even know if he's an atheist. And now, this is the big one. The 1965 film Planet of the Vampires. I've seen that movie. Almost nobody has, but the movie Planet of the Vampires is an absolute horribly trash B-movie from the 1960s, made with zero budget by like an Italian director. I think he made it for like $1,000. It's one of the worst movies ever made, and it is almost no relation to Alien whatsoever. Saying that it is alarmingly similar to Alien is like saying it's a copy because it's a movie. There's no connection between the two, really. The connection is, at the start of Planet of the Vampires, these incredibly, like, 50s-looking spacemen land on a planet that's basically just a quarry, filmed very close up so they don't have to pay rights to anybody. And they come back off the planet after, like, mining it for a second, and an alien has gotten bored. That is the similarity they're talking about. So, Also, Aliens is an anti-Vietnam statement. Yes, and that's a good thing. Aliens is very anti-Vietnam, and, you know, so should literally anybody be? I mean, is this website under the inclination that Vietnam worked, or was a good thing at all? Or, you know, do they think they won? I have no idea. Apocalypse Now, another amazing movie. Overindulgent anti-war diatribe portrays the American military as corrupt, incompetent drug users. Yes. I mean, yeah. Every sentence of that is true, but I wouldn't say it's, like, a bad thing. Oh, hang on now. I will remind you of the title of this page. Worst liberal movies. And they have Birth of a Nation, like, third on the list. Birth of a Nation is one of the most infamously right-wing movies ever made. I have no idea what they're talking about. If you don't know what Birth of a Nation is, it's the movie that basically reformed the Ku Klux Klan, who are famously liberal, the Ku Klux Klan. Everybody knows them. Borat, I hate Borat, and he is a liberal shock jock. but falsely portrays American conservatives as uneducated racists. I'm not sure how you can say that about Borat when, for all Borat's flaws, and for all Sacha Baron Cohen's flaws, he did literally just point a camera at racist people and let them speak. So I'm not sure how you can say falsely portrays. I'm just gonna scroll until I see some like my favorite movies, basically. Doctor Strangelove is one of the greatest movies of all time. Black comedy is against war, the military, and nuclear weaponry. I love that they're portraying that as a bad thing, like being anti-war. It's like, surely even if you're a right-wing conservative, surely you don't actually want war. Surely it's like a necessary side effect, but you're not actually pro-war, right? I mean, that's just insane. Is that what they're actually saying? I have no idea if this is actually satire or not. It's not. I checked it up first. I checked up this site, Conservapedia, on Wikipedia, and on a couple of other sites, just to check, is this satire? Because it reads like satire. And apparently it's played completely straight. They have The Eternal Jew on the list. Oh my fucking god! The Eternal Jew, if you don't know, is a Nazi propaganda film made with, oh, and they say it here, direct input from Adolf Hitler. I will just zoom quickly back up to the top. Worst liberal movies. Are they saying that Adolf Hitler was a liberal? Because I think he's pretty much accepted to be the direct antithesis of a liberal. Dawn of the Dead is on there? I love Dawn of the Dead. Besides containing outbursts of graphic violence, it is a zombie movie. This standalone sequel to George R. R. Romero's Night of the Living Dead, also brilliant, is against capitalism because the consumers are zombies. The Zack Snyder remake abandoned this. That's because Zack Snyder is a hack. I mean, yeah. Just because he's not... I mean, I wouldn't say George R. R. Romero is like a frothing at the mouth liberal. He's just like... He just made a movie about zombies in a mall. I think they're being very critical. Adolf was too woke for these guys. It seems like that's the thing. Like, Adolf Hitler was a bit too, liberal for this site, apparently. I'm just going to zoom down until I see more. Lolita? Lolita being on this list is interesting, I would say. I thought that the religious right would love Lolita. I mean, have you seen the Catholic Church? They're the religious right. They'd be obsessed with Lolita. Love, Simon. I mean, I wonder why they'd have a problem with Love, Simon. A gay romance movie. Why is The Matrix on here? Oh, they hate The Matrix. The Matrix, if you don't know, is made by two trans women. And it's about sort of... It's kind of has a whole kind of nihilistic theme, and it has, like, embracing, like, the truth over what's accepted to you and stuff like that. I would say it is anti-Christian, and it's kind of... I wouldn't say it's far left. Oh no, well, content warning for transphobia here. The Wachowski sisters. Yeah, the right wing absolutely despise The Matrix, even though it's one of those things that I don't really get. The right wing love to say red-pilled. Red-pilled is like a euphemism for being a right-wing, like, Christian usually, or like an incel. It's like, oh, you've taken the red pill. But they, the red pill comes from The Matrix, and it's meant to be literally the opposite of that. Like, the red pill is meant to be an allegory for realizing that you're trans, if you don't know The Matrix. And yet they use, there's a famous Twitter exchange where Lily Wachowski, the one of the women who did The Matrix, basically just tells one of the Trump siblings and Elon Musk to go fuck themselves because they don't understand the movie that they're quoting. It's quite good. Milk. Oh, of course they'd hate Milk. Because, worst liberal movies. Sean Penn portrays an openly homosexual politician. That's what they have a problem with. That's why it's worst liberal movie. It's because he's gay in it. My god. Mulan's a bad movie. Mulan's a really bad movie. Like, I watched Mulan for the first time with no nostalgia, because I didn't watch it as a kid. I watched it for the first time a couple of years ago, and I thought I fell asleep, and went just kind of went away from it. Like, I didn't finish it. I got about 2/3 of the way through and didn't finish it. Sort of agree with the Motorcycle Diaries. I've never heard of this movie. Fawning monument to communist terrorist and mass murderer Che Guevara. I actually know very little about Che Guevara, to be honest, and I've never seen that movie. The Naked Gun. The Naked Gun is the Leslie Nielsen movie, based on Police Squad. It's like, you know, it's a parody movie, a bit like Airplane. I have no idea what they're talking. Pushes environmentalism and attacks productive businesses, especially the oil industry. It must be genuinely hard to be this person, like, who's writing this. Because, like, if you can't handle watching a movie about, like, an oil industry executive not being a good person, or a gay character being a central focus of a movie, like, you must find it very hard to be happy. Like, you must be very sort of sad all the time. Like, they call people snowflakes, but in my experience, they are the most sensitive weirdos on the planet. Okay, we'll do a couple more of these. Night of the Living Dead, again, one of the greatest movies of all time. Vilifies nuclear energy. I wouldn't really say it vilifies nuclear energy as much as that's just a plot thing. Negatively portrays police officers as racist. It doesn't really do that. Yeah, I would say this is just a lie. This is our first kind of, like, direct lie, I think. Because, it's just like a random mob and there's police in it. At the end who kill him. And it's not... I don't think it's... At least George A. Romero said it wasn't because the main character is black. He said that he didn't actually intend any overtones like that. I don't know if I believe him or not, but he said that he just happened to cast a black guy after seeing that he was the best in the audition. And then a mob kills him. It was meant to be more of a commentary on mob rule rather than racism. It just reads like that because police are racist. Okja is an amazing movie. You should watch this. It's by the same guy who did Parasite, Bong Joon-ho. Amazing guy. This environmentalist propaganda piece vilifies capitalists and essentially plagiarizes the Buster Keaton classic Go West. So why is it a Buster Keaton classic if it's just the same plot and this is just an environmentalist propaganda piece? Okja's really good. Okja, if you want to stop eating meat, go watch Okja. But I will say, propaganda piece vilifies capitalists. It is recreated footage of slaughterhouses, basically. What he did, Bong Joon-ho, he went around to slaughterhouses, he toured them, and then the scenes that are apparently propaganda are direct recreations of that, just with like a fictional animal called Okja. So yeah. Okay, one or couple more scrolls. I just want to see, like, oh, Robocop. I was expecting Robocop on this list. This is actually one of the ones I was looking for, as well as Alien. Because Robocop is unashamedly, like, anti-Reagan and anti-capitalist. Like, Robocop is basically just a big flashing sign saying, I hate Ronald Reagan, for 2 hours. And it's so good. It's one of the most violent movies I've ever seen, but it's very, very funny. Left-wing smut peddler Paul Verhoeven. That's such... If I ever made a movie, like a full-length movie, and it ended up on this list, I would use quotes for it on my posters. Like, if Paul Verhoeven's next movie doesn't have this quote on it, left-wing smut peddler, then he's missing a trick. Depicts all police forces and corporations as evil. Contains an environmentalist message? I would say that's a bit of a stretch. It's kind of just a joke in the movie. Verhoeven is also a member of the Liberal Jesus Seminar. I don't even know what that is. A grotesque parody of Christ's resurrection? That's a bit... That's a breach, I would say. I actually love this. Name of my next band is the Smut Peddlers. It's a good band name. Socially liberal. American Pie? American Pie is so fucking conservative. I mean, yeah, date rape is considered funny in the movie. That is the most right-wing conservative movie. Like, it's a comedy movie aimed at teens from the late 90s, early 2000s. It's very anti-gay. It's very, very anti, like, safe sex and consensual sex. It's an awful movie. I can't stand that movie. I'd say calling this a liberal movie is stretching the bounds of belief. I don't believe you think that. Star Trek's on it? Well, they'd hate Star Trek, even though I think I think Gene Roddenberry, the guy who did Star Trek, was a libertarian, but they would hate Star Trek. It has like a pacifist utopia future where there's like universal healthcare and no scarcity. That is the opposite of what right-wing people like. Animal House, again, Animal House is one of the most rapey things I've ever seen. Extramarital sex. It's telling that this is what they have a problem with when they literally do sexual assault in that movie. It glorifies alcohol abuse and extramarital sex. They have sex outside of marriage and they drink in the movie. This is what is bad. Not the whole, like, sexual assault, you know, things that go on in it. Roddenberry was a huge misogynist. Exactly, they should love him. I mean, they have Trump on the cover. Avatar? Directed by liberal James Cameron, it forces many destructive messages, including environmentalism and feminism, and the absurd claim that nature is God. Oh, they really didn't like the whole nature worship thing, I guess. Yeah, I mean, Avatar's a really bad movie. I wouldn't say it's, like, aggressively liberal. I mean, it's just kind of, like, you know, Fern Gully, but with some, like, military porn in it. It's pretty benign, I would say, in general. I think I think this person might have the strongest opinion on Avatar that anyone's ever had. Because Avatar is, I think, pretty famously one of the most boring movies to have done best in the world. Like, it did incredibly well, but it's so fucking boring. Like, I tried to watch it a second time, because I watched that movie in theaters, and was like, this is amazing. It's so pretty, and I watched it in 3D, and I was like, oh, it's amazing looking. And then I rented it and watched it at home when renting was still a thing. I rented it from Extravision, if anybody remembers that. And I got about 20 minutes in and went, I can't watch this, it's just nothing. I like the movie. Everybody kind of liked it and then forgot about it. Unobtainium, how did it make 760 million gross? I love Unobtainium. You know what? That's the lasting impact of that movie, is that people will just occasionally bring up that Unobtainium was used in a big budget movie. Being John Malkovich. Another movie I quite like, Being John Malkovich. It's weird. It's not for everybody. This biopic celebrates homosexuality and includes a large amount of vulgar humor. This biopic. That's what they're calling Being John Malkovich. Is this biopic. Being John Malkovich, if you don't know what that is a movie about John Cusack and Cameron Diaz finding a secret office that has a secret door in it that leads through into a weird magical tunnel that puts you inside John Malkovich's brain, the actor, playing himself. And then you can control John Malkovich like a puppet and make him do things, and they get sort of obsessed about being John Malkovich. There's the title. And so they start, like, selling tickets and sort of, like, having sex with each other as John Malkovich and stuff like that. Saying that it's a biopic is basically proves that this person has never seen this movie. Anyway, I don't want to do this forever because I'm looking over at the, like, little bar on the side of the screen. There is, like, 200 more movies in here, but I cannot read them all. So I'm going to go on to crosswords now. But my fucking god, who wrote this and are they okay? The answer is no, and they should probably be put in a home in a straitjacket. Anyway, I'll move on to, like, crosswords. Let me get the screen region set up. We'll go over to breaks later.